Hello, we are going to find the indefinite integral of the function x times the square root of x squared minus 4. So we have a composite function. We basically have a function in a function where the square root sign would be f of x, or the outer function, but then x squared minus 4 is going to be the inner function, or g of x. So the way we're going to find the integral is by using theorem 4.13, which is anti-differentiation for a composite function. And that allows us to use u substitution to find the integral. So first, before I do any u substitution, I'm actually going to rewrite the function so that it'll be easier to take its antiderivative later. So I'm going to write it as x times, in parentheses, x squared minus 4 to the power of 1/2, and then dx at the end. So now it looks like this, and they're equal to each other. So now I'll begin my u substitution. I'll have u equal that inner function, which I said was x squared minus 4. And then we're going to find the derivative of u. So du will equal, if you use the power rule for derivatives, that'll be 2x minus 0, or just 2x. So 2x, du equals 2x, and then you put dx at the end. And now what we're going to do is we're going to isolate that x, because in our original function we have an x, and we're going to isolate the x so that we have a value that we can set it to, so we can substitute that in later. So the way we can isolate our x here is by dividing each side by 2. So then we'll have 1/2 du equals x dx. So we can now say that x dx equals 1/2. So that's what we're going to substitute it for. So let's substitute these values. So I'm going to write integrand. Instead of x, we're going to write 1/2 times, and then instead of x squared minus 4, we're going to write u to the power of 1/2. And then we're going to write du instead of dx. So this is what we have. Next, because this 1/2 is a constant, we can move it to the outside of the integrand. So I'm going to rewrite that as 1/2 integrand u to the power of 1/2 du. All right, and now we can find the integral by taking the antiderivative of u to the power of 1/2. So we're going to write that as, well, we're going to use the power rule. So u to the power of 1/2 becomes u to the power of 1/2 plus 1, or 2/2, over 1/2 plus 2/2, plus c to represent the constant. All right, so continuing, I'm just going to simplify all of that. So 1/2 times u to the power of 3/2 over 3/2 plus c, which can be rewritten as 1/2 times 2/3 times u to the power of 3/2 plus c. And then these 2's can cancel. I have 1/3 u to the power of 3/2 plus c. So once you simplify that, you'll get 1/3 u to the power of 3/2 plus c. And you can see all the work that I did to simplify that. So now that we've found the integral using u, we can put our actual, we can like back substitute now. So we replaced x squared minus 4 for u. We're going to put it back into the function. So we're going to have 1/3 times x squared minus 4 to the power of 3/2 plus c. And we can rewrite that as x squared minus 4 to the power of 3/2 over 3 plus c. And that would be our answer. Now, we're also asked to check our work. The way we can do that is by taking the derivative of this answer that we just got. So if we do that, we can use the quotient rule since we're working with a fraction. So using the quotient rule, we're going to have, first we're going to take the derivative of the numerator and multiply it by the denominator, and that will be 3/2 times, we're also using the chain rule here, times x squared minus 4. I don't actually have enough space on this page. Sorry. Let me go to another page. Check. Okay, so it'll be 3/2 times x squared minus 4 to 3/2 minus 1, that'll be 1/2 to the power of 1/2 times the derivative of the inner function, so 2x, and then times 3. And then we're going to subtract that by the derivative of the denominator times the numerator. The denominator is 3, and that's a constant, so that's just going to equal 0. So we're just going to say minus 0. And then that's all over going to be the denominator squared. So that would be 3 squared. So this is our setup here. And I am going to start canceling things out because there's some stuff we can cancel out. We can cancel out the 2 and, yeah, we can cancel the 2's. So let me do that. And then we can actually cancel out all of our 3's as well. So let me do that too. And once you cancel all of those things out, you will have x squared minus 4 to the power of 1/2 times x. And I didn't do this in the first step, but the derivative of c is going to equal 0. So you should just remember that. So that's what you have. And we can rewrite this as x times the square root of x squared minus 4, which was the original function we were given. So that's how we know that we did our work correctly. All right.